great about this matchup is just the interior fronts, and that's exactly where the Seahawks are going to have their most. I would say if there's any advantage where the Seahawks can get a little, it's going to be right off the point of impact, right on the trenches. Their defensive line versus the Rams' offensive line. It's good, but it's not exactly to a point where the Seahawks are not going to be able to getting into Nick Foles' face, push him to the outsides, and of course once you start talking about Nick Foles not settling into the pocket and you're trying to get him a little bit outside, the Seahawks, basically the interior speed, the exterior speed of the Seahawks defense is. That's going to cause some problems for Nick Foles. So right at the point of impact is where the Seahawks are going to be. That's where their bread and butter is going to be in this game, no doubt about it.
Averill, Mebane, Bennett, those guys. Look. Commando, what do you think? Is that their best advantage, or is there something else?
I think that's their best advantage, but then, when you flip it around, I think the same thing for the Rams defensive line. Because we've seen the Rams defensive line, man, just, constantly put it on Russell Wilson. And just throw him off with making him scramble and that type of thing. And so, but getting back to the Seahawks defensive line, man, I am really looking forward to that battle. All those battles up front, because I'm looking that the trenches, as Steve just mentioned, man, is where this game starts. This starts and continues.
This this is where you're going to see Frank Clark start his clock. This is where you're going to see this talented rookie defensive end really just shine, because again, what's going to be the interesting thing, just to see exactly where Ruben and Mebane are going to have their field day in the interior, right off A gap, right off B gap, right up the gut. You're going to see Michael Bennett do exactly what he's going to do. But what's going to be great about this is it's going to leave some very favorable matchup for Frank Clark on the outside. And if you thought he was special in the preseason, just wait till he gets off in this contest as well too. This is going to be the coming out party. This is where you're going to see the SportsCenter highlights, a couple sacks maybe.
Frank Clark.
Oh yeah. This is going to be a very, very fun game for Frank Clark.
He's slated to play at the left defensive end slot. They might move him around a little bit. I'm anxious to see what he does in a regular season game, because he was spectacular in preseason. But when you look at the defense, you're going to rely on Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman, as we talked about. Those guys are coming off injury, but they're still going to be playmakers, and they've got to make a play. The turnover battle, right, Commando? That's it. That's where they can get the advantage. They've got to force and create turnovers, however that is. If it's the pressure up front that makes Foles make a bad decision, then that's what it is. If it's stripping one of these running backs, Trey Mason or Gurley, of the ball, punching it out, always going for the ball, they have to create turnovers.
Now, the one thing I can say about the Rams' offensive line is this preseason there was glimpses of being able to have Nick Foles being able to have at least a second in the pocket, be for him to get out to deliver his passes. So basically, one step, two step, ball out of the hand, quick release, those type of
style.
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong, he's
brings us back to Cam Chancellor.
He's not. By the way,
so we're putting Cam Chancellor over here.
Yeah. Nick Foles is. Nick Foles is definitely not.
From the guy.
Can't get away from
He's
it.
definitely not Peyton Manning, but at the same time, you have talented receivers, Kenny Britt, Tavon Austin. Right. Chris Givens, very good possession receivers as well too. They have burners on the outside. So if there's one thing that I can say about the improvement of the Rams' offensive line, it's they've been able to hold their own. Quick step drop, ball release into the hands of talented receivers, playmakers. They got them.
Are you guys more interested to watch the Seahawks defense or the offense? Where's your curiosity lie the most?
Offense, definitely. I know what the Seahawks defense brings for me. Sans Cam Chancellor. It's the elephant that's never going to leave the room until you say something happened by week 8. But the Seahawks, preseason you really can't judge. But in games like these, the Seahawks sometimes a little bit slow getting out of the tracks on offense, and I'm really I just want to see Russell Wilson cut loose. I just want to see beast mode, boom, cutting loose. I want to see those receivers cutting loose. So I'm really, now that it's the regular season and we're not testing. It's still testing, but it's not that preseason type kind of testing. I want to see what this offense is going to do, because this offense, unlike any offense in the Pete Carroll era, has Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
You know what? You gotta love him. I love it. Jimmy Graham, love it.
Can't wait.
Love it.
Can't wait either.
I'm gonna go the other way though, and it's because of the Cam Chancellor absence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's what's having me intrigued because again, I brought up the name Jared Cook. I love Jared Cook. I think he's a fantastic tight end. And what is the one area of concern, even during the Super Bowl run of 2013, we'll go even 1 year before that, in 2012, 2013, 2014, what has been the one bugaboo about the Seahawks defense?
Tight ends.
Tight ends.
Right.
Their inability to cover tight ends in zone coverage, even in man coverage. It's the ability to allow even mediocre tight ends to go off against them. But also how that correlates and also to possession receivers that we saw last year in the Super Bowl with Julian Edelman,
Yeah.
and we've seen that again with just possession receivers against against the Seahawks defense. How a tight end goes off and how that opens up a little creases in the middle, and especially for a guy like Nick Foles that needs the underneath pass to get into a rhythm so he can actually go up top if he wants to dial up one of those type of plays. To me, it's going to be how good is Deion Bailey. We know what he can do in the preseason, but now all of a sudden it's big boy time. It's big boy pants. You got to put them on, and now you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be on an island. So now here's your opportunity, kid. Here's Jared Cook.
The lights are brighter.
Right. So are you going to be able to stop? Are you going to be able to stop Trey Mason? Are you going to be able to do what are you going to be able to provide what Cam Chancellor does in the running game, and also in one-on-one coverage when you run those little 10-yard flag routes to the right to the sideline, and that's Jared Cook's bread and butter. So are you going to be able to man up and stop him from putting the Ram offense in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, one of those type of short offenses? To be honest
It's
with you,
going to be a big factor.
I want to see the defense. I definitely want to see the defense.
And to be honest with you, no. He's
Okay.
not, I mean, he's not coming to...
No, I know.
It's two different players, man. I mean, that's why we're all lamenting. That's why Captain started off talking about the fans turning and that type of thing, which social media is just really, that kind of deal. But
we'll find out. We'll find out what Deion Bailey's style is. What is
that's more of the thing.
going to bring to the
exactly,
table?
Right. Because there's a difference between coming up, filling that gap, making the stop that you were just talking about, and just making a tackle.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Totally.
enforcer style.
I'm with you, Commando. The offense is what intrigues me. You've got Nowak at center. That's a whole different deal from Max Unger and Lem Jean-Pierre. How does that work out? How does the offensive line against the best defensive line in football, in my opinion, maybe one of the best defensive lines the Rams have, in decades. So I'm excited to see that. Jimmy Graham. How do they use Tyler Lockett as a wide receiver?
Right.
We didn't see much of Curse and Baldwin in the preseason. How do those guys look? Are they improved? Where's the big play going to come from? And like you said, Commando, Russell Wilson. You got your money, kid. Now let's go. Let's do it.
I get it, man. Everybody loves the offense, man. Everybody wants to see the offense because in the preseason, I don't think this team outside of the over top to Tyler Lockett against the against the Raiders.
Right out of the gate.
That was it. That was it for the offensive score. Pretty much the offensive scoring. So I get it. Everybody's a little concerned, just exactly just how much in sync this offense is. But I'll use a little golf reference, man. It's drive for show, putt for dough. You know what I mean? And to me, putting for dough is all about the defense. It's the bread and butter of this team. I want to see this team just come out and just smack somebody in the jaw. Cam Chancellor, we don't care. That's what I want to see. I want to see Nick Foles rattled. I want to see just the entire walls of his being, just his fiber, come down. That's I want to see it. That's to me that's I want to see snot nose. I want to see hard nosed snot nosed football. That's what I want to see.
Snot bubbles.
Snot bubbles. That's what I want to see.
Program.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And see, the thing is, with all due respect, Captain, you kind of asked an unfair question, an imbalanced question, if you will. You want to see the offense, you want to see the defense, don't forget about special teams.
Right.
Because
Tyler Lockett.
Right, and the thing is, now, because of football, you got those three teams, and so I'm really looking to see the spark in the regular season that Tyler Lockett brought in that preseason.
And I think
the one thing that we did see in the preseason was that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be more dynamic than the great spark that Golden Tate brought when he was in that role, because Golden Tate was fantastic, but I think Tyler Lockett's going to take it to another level.
Right.
But I was going to get to special teams, because when I think of special teams and the Hawks and the Rams matchup,
right.
I think of fake punts. It's been disastrous. So in the special teams game, yes, I'm excited to see Lockett.
Yeah.
But I'm more excited to see the Seahawks not get punked, not fall for some bullcrap, fake field goal, fake punt, whatever it is. That's
Get punked.
that's
Don't
what
get punked. Don't beat Portland State. Don't beat Portland State versus WSU. Don't get
You're gonna
punked.
break him.
You had to bring Washington State in.
Yeah, well, you have to. I mean, so I just get the feeling that this time around, and I understand. I mean, once bitten, twice shy. Okay, we
Right.
understand that. Okay. To me, the most underrated quality about Pete Carroll and his staff is their ability to prepare and their ability to understand.